Hi, my name is Delisa Archer with American Singing Studio, where we're training voices for success. And I'm here today with my friend, Mr. Horace Perdue. He is a master teacher, educator, and speaker, and quite frankly, one of the most brilliant minds that I know. I'm very excited to have him here today. We're going to do a vocal analysis on Miss Whitney Houston. And I think it's fair to say she's both of our favorite singers.
She's my absolute favorite singer of all time. Yes.
In the whole wide world.
In the whole wide world.
Of every era.
Of every era. Yes.
So we're going to break down her voice and talk about why. This is going to be exciting. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was her vocal Fach, and perhaps how her vocal Fach may have changed or adjusted with time. Mm-hmm. So I feel like when she started her career in 1983, 85?
But before then, when she used to do background for her mom and different singers.
Correct.
So, but her launch was, I believe, with the first album.
Yes.
You know, the Whitney Houston album, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that was around 85.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See there? So,
but before we go there, can we just talk about the whole idea of using the Fach classification for pop and R&B singers?
Absolutely.
Because I do have a lot to say about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Firstly, I do understand the need to use that classification to give us a sense of the type of voice we're dealing with, and the analysis of a voice kind of needs to start with the type of voice the person has. But I feel sometimes, even though I understand it, I feel that the Fach system is a little bit more, outdated, because it's a German system that was used for opera, used to classify, pieces to see which voices may fit into which opera. Mm-hmm. And that's a different type of singing than what, pop singers and R&B singers do today. So it's difficult sometimes to really classify the voice within that Fach, because then you have to imagine the voice, as a classically trained voice, or you have to imagine it how it would sound if it were placed or if it resonated a certain way. So, I'll do the classifications, but I'm just doing it, in a way that will sort of get to the point of what I feel the voice can do, but I'm doing it with reservation.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Do you feel like classifying it using the vocal Fach, the German way, do you feel like that in any way limits the voice? Because I feel like when I use it, I'm actually trying to find the purest form of what the voice is. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it can limit
because I feel like the way that pop singers sing is limiting. So I do feel like the only way you can figure out what a voice really is to take those limits off and see, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it still goes back to the idea of what is the purest sound. Are we looking at the bel canto?
Yes, that's what I look at.
Yeah, so that is that's okay to look at that as the standard, but I feel that sometimes that limits the idea of what the voice can sound like and what it should sound like, because we have this idea of, okay, well, if she's singing too forward or singing this way, it may connote an incorrect way of singing. But if you're using the bel canto style, yes, it may be incorrect, but if you're using it to apply to a different type of singing, you may have to change the standard for that type of singing, So, so it's still up for debate. I know people talk about it on YouTube all the time, and, Facebook. I've seen a lot of debates about it. But to answer your question about Whitney Houston, I think she has changed, throughout the years. Her Fach, she started off to me as a lyric soprano, and then because her voice is really, really light in the beginning.
Wait, hold on really quickly. You said something that I wanted to address. You said, what was the last statement that you said? The vocal, you said the bel canto. Okay, so here's the thing. When I listen to a voice and I hear that they're using, incorrect technique, like you said, if their voice is too forward or too far back, I feel like that actually helps me to classify a person, because especially if they're able to do things and they're using incorrect technique, it makes me think, well,
if they were
actually doing it correctly, how much more voice would they have, range, power, whatever the case is. So it actually helps me classify somebody, because a lot of times pop singers are using incorrect technique, and it would free their voice if they were to do it correctly. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree from a technical point of view, but then sometimes a song calls for a certain sound. So what's correct for the artistry of that song? You know, correct is kind of relative.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay.
Well, I would love if you, what artist do you feel like here's the thing, I respect people's artistry. I respect, you know, if they just sing with a dark sound, or if they just sing with a nasal sound, or if they just sing with a fast vibrato. You would be amazed who's actually on my playlist. People, you know, I don't just listen to the greats all the time. I have a huge appreciation for a lot of people that other people would think are subpar vocalists. So I have a respect for people's artistry, but I would love to know who you feel I guess their artistry is enhanced, or that somebody would think that they sound incorrect, but they're actually correct. You know what we?
It's not necessarily that they're correct. It's just that the standard of correct, like sometimes
that shouldn't apply to them.
Exactly, like a Patti LaBelle. Like I honestly feel that she does everything technically incorrect. But it worked for her, and I have to say that was a very strong statement. Not everything technically incorrect, because you know she does use her mix well. And, you know, but there's certain things like, all right, you know, when I went to
the yodeling.
Well,
that's not really correct or incorrect.
I didn't say that it wasn't, but that's part of my point.
Okay.
Know? But like even the fact that she would, I know we're like on a different artist.
Yeah, this is clearly a different video at this point.
But, you know, we'll get back to Whitney Houston. But, you know, like how she tends to, her placement changes like within one phrase. She'll like she has forward, she has like a resonance in the back.
I appreciate that.
But what I'm saying is, I do too.
Yeah.
And like to a person who's classically trained, she's singing incorrect. It's not consistent enough. It's not, you know, resonant, like her voice, her ranges and her registers are different going up. Like it's not consistent at all. And but
does that affect in any way her vocal ability or prowess? No, it doesn't, because she essentially knows how to access the notes when she has to, the right notes, with the power.
But it could also affect because, you know, her vibrato's not always consistent. You know, there's certain things that she can probably do some work with, but it's fine because it works with what she does. Right. So what I'm saying is the correctness, even though there's a standard that has been set,
right,
it's relative. And I think sometimes it's more of this imperialization of this European way of, you know, deciphering what a voice should sound like, and you know, us given, you know, people of color feel sometimes we have to fit into that. But when we sing differently, you know, we belt differently, you know, there are different things that we do that works for the type of singing that we do. You know?
So actually, I feel like this was a really lively conversation about vocal frock, although we started off trying to talk about Whitney Houston. Don't you think?
I think so.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts, and you guys tell me what you think. Thank you so much. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share this video, and we'll see you next time. God bless.